One of the most important actions we took was the mandate for our schools. Our parents needed to know their kids would be safe. They entrust us with their children. It's one of the most sacred things that happens when a parent says to a school community, I'm letting you have my child for the school day. Please help them to grow, please help them to learn, but you gotta keep them safe. That is what this mandate is all about. Every adult in our schools is now vaccinated, and that's gonna be the rule going forward, and that's the way to keep kids safe and the whole school community safe. This has been now looked at by the court system over and over and over again. The New York City vaccination mandate for our schools has been upheld over and over in state court, federal court. There was an appeal to the Supreme Court on Friday. The Supreme Court made clear the previous court decisions stand. And so consistently what courts have said is New York City has a right to put this mandate in place for our schools, for the adults in our schools. It's the right thing today, the right thing to do. And as of today, all the employees in our 1,600 schools are vaccinated, and that is unprecedented. And that's on top of all of the layers of protection, all the health and safety measures that make up that gold standard that we put in place last year that's continued to deepen this year. Here are the facts as of this morning, and I think everyone's going to be pleased to hear this report. As of now, 95% of all full-time DOE employees are vaccinated. 96% of all teachers. 99% of all principals. An amazing effort, and I want everyone to know, since the mandate was announced for our schools, August 23rd, over 43,000 doses given to employees of our public schools. So much has been done. Thank you to everyone who participated, but I really want to thank the leader of the effort because she believed from the beginning this was the way to go, and she made clear to everyone we had to get there together, and she achieved it. My great pleasure to introduce our Chancellor, Misha Ross Porter.
Thank you, Mayor de Blasio. And as you've said, we've been climbing the ladder to this moment for months. And now 95% of all full-time DOE employees are vaccinated. This morning, I visited PS5 in Bed-Stuy, a true hidden gem in District 16, where Principal Gates shared that 100% of her staff got vaccinated, no staffing losses at all. It was just like a regular day for them. Parents dropping off their babies, educators welcoming their students into class, and every single staff member in the building vaccinated. It was wonderful. What does 95% vaccinated mean? It means our employees and staff members, as we've said, are doing their part to keep their community safe. It means there is an actual bubble of safety around our children in their school buildings, beginning today and every day going forward. With 100% of adults in buildings vaccinated, New York City schools are the safest places to be. And our incredible vaccination mandate made this possible. Every employee from pre-K to adult education, from the Bronx to Far Rockaway, cares deeply about our students, and that's how we got to this moment. Now, this used to mean staying after class with a student or bringing in school supplies for those in need. But in the age of COVID-19, it also means getting vaccinated. And I want to personally thank everyone, every educator, every food service worker, every school safety agent, every principal, assistant principal, every substitute teacher, every custodial worker, and every single employee in our system who stepped up and took this vital step to keep our children safe. 18,000 new shots were given out since last Friday. That's an incredible surge. To those who have not yet gotten vaccinated, it's never too late to get the life-saving vaccine. Get your first dose today. You are more than welcome to come back to work. Our students need you, our city needs you. To parents who are worried about disruption in our babies' schools this week, we are prepared for this moment. We've been working so hard to get to this moment. We have thousands of vaccinated substitutes on hand, and we are working hand in hand to support and ensure the continuity of instruction in every school every day. A benefit of being the largest district in the nation is that we have the largest village of dedicated adults prepared to step up for our young people. This week, vaccination sites will continue to be in every single school with students ages 12 and over. They are there to provide both first and second doses, and we're happy to announce that today we're starting our first round of second doses in our schools for our students. If you are a mom or dad who's been sitting on the fence, now is the time to have your baby get vaccinated and be protected from COVID-19. Vaccination means more time in school, access to sports and extracurriculars, and more importantly, a faster return to our normal. Once again, thank you to every staff member who got vaccinated. Every single one of you is such an important piece in the armor protecting us from this pandemic. And thank you, Mayor de Blasio, for making sure school staff are vaccinated and reassuring parents citywide. Together, we are making sure our kids can stay in school safely and get the excellent public school education they deserve in each and every one of our New York City public schools.
Thank you so much, Chancellor. And Chancellor, I know that a huge amount of work went in with you and your team to get ready for today. I'm hearing really good reports from around our school system, our 1,600 schools, that the right steps were taken to keep everything moving forward. But it all begins with that amazing fact: 95% of full-time DOE employees have now received at least one dose of the vaccine. That's amazing. I want you to now hear what this means to families, what it means to parents, what it means to kids. I want you to hear from a parent from the Bronx, and she went through, like all of us, all the challenges of COVID in the last year and a half, but parents went through particularly tough challenges, trying to make sure that their kids could keep learning and growing even with all the problems surrounding them. And parents want to make sure that that environment is safe going forward because they want their kids in school. Paula Ellis has a 7-year-old and a 13-year-old at PSMS 5 in the Bronx. I want you to hear her story. Welcome, Paula Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor de Blasio and Chancellor Porter. My name is Paula Ellis, and I'm the proud parent of a 7 and 13-year-old in the Bronx. I want to thank every educator who stepped up and got vaccinated. The last 2 years have been hard on both the parents and the teachers. Parents became teachers, and teachers were separated from their students, the young people they do their job for. Every one of us has had to make the best choices for our children, often based on science that changed daily and a hope that it will become better. It was hard on us as adults, but even harder on our children. I kept my children remote last year because I had to weigh safety against everything I know about the schools provided them. They were separated from their friends, their teachers, and their education. When I heard that the mayor and the chancellor announced that every staff member will be vaccinated, I knew this year would be different. We have these amazing vaccines today. I can rest assured that my children have a powerful layer of protection around them. I know that every caring adult that comes in contact with my children today are vaccinated. My 7-year-old, who cannot be vaccinated yet, can go to school. I know he is protected by all the safety measures that keep him safe, which now include vaccinations. For my 13-year-old, he is vaccinated, and I know that his education will face fewer interruptions as he continues his high school journey. So I also want to thank every educator, principal, food service worker, and safety agent, and every caring adult who got vaccinated is making sure that my babies are protected. Also, thank you, Mayor de Blasio.
Well, we've lost her sound. Hey, Paula, can you hear us? We lost your sound there. I don't know if something got muted. It's a video connection. Okay, well, Paula, thank you. I'm sorry we lost the end of what you said, but I want to amplify your thanks to all of our educators and all of our staff who did the right thing and got vaccinated. Because hearing your voice, Paula, I can hear the reassurance that you now feel as a parent. So thank you for speaking up for your fellow parents, and thank you to everyone at DOE who did the right thing and got vaccinated. And I got to tell you, having a mandate, having some clear rules, having a deadline really makes a difference. Powerful tweet this morning from the White House Chief of Staff, Ron Klain, and he was responding to the news of the success of the New York City Department of Education with 95% of employees now vaccinated. He said this simply this morning: we all know it. There are people who just wait until the deadline. It's a reality, and it's why vaccine requirements are needed and effective. Exactly right, and this is why all over the country, schools should do it, Cities should do it, mayors should step up, governors should step up for their states. These mandates work. It's what's going to save this country. And I want you now to hear from someone who is absolutely an expert, because he has the well-being of all the children of America as his responsibility. He is leading this country's efforts to educate our children, but he has an additional job now to lead the way in keeping them safe. And he was here with us on the first day of school. He's back with us on this very important day, and he's supported us every step of the way. As Secretary of Education of the United States of America, my pleasure to introduce Dr. Miguel Cardona.
Saludos, Mayor. Thank you very much. So glad to be with you all. Students across the country are back in school. They're back with their teachers. They're back with their friends where they belong. They've suffered enough, and we know that students learn best in the classroom. So I applaud everything that you're doing to promote a safe return to school. And that includes, better ventilation systems. That includes masking to make sure that we're reducing the spread. But that also includes taking advantage of what we have this year that we didn't have last year, vaccinations. We know vaccinations work, and every effort that you take to make sure that the folks that come in contact with our children are vaccinated is well received. Thank you for taking the leadership on that. Thanks to the leadership of the mayor, Chancellor Porter, and other leaders, students are back in the classrooms. And I was fortunate to visit New York to see the students in action, them smiling. I visited several places when I was there to see that firsthand. I went to Harvey Milk School, I visited Queens, and I visited PS 121 through on the first day of school to see that excitement. The president made it very clear when not only he asked governors to move forward on vaccination requirements where possible, but also with $130 billion in the American Rescue Plan that Congress passed to make sure schools had the tools that they needed to safely reopen. And we're seeing that across the country. But it takes leaders like what I'm seeing here in New York, mayor, chancellor, to do the right thing. I remember the impact COVID had on New York when it first came out. New York City was one of the hardest hit areas. And it's going to take strong leadership to get out of this. And 95% of the staff that work there are vaccinated already. That goes to show that leadership matters, that the New Yorkers get it. In fact, I learned that there's less cases when schools reopen. So you're doing it right. Students need to be in the classroom, they need to be safe, and we need to make sure we're doing everything possible to let our staff get vaccinated and make sure that our schools are as safe as possible. Listen, we have a lot of important work to do to close achievement disparities, to improve college access, and it takes strong leaders like yourself and the team that you work for to make sure the job gets done. It's not always popular, but it's the right thing to do to protect our children. I commend all the educators across New York City for your leadership, for putting students first, and know that I support the work that you're doing over there. Continue to lead and continue to protect our students, keeping them safe, learning in the classroom where they learn best. Again, thank you for the invitation. Have a great day.
Mr. Secretary, thank you so much. I got to tell you, it has helped us every step of the way to have your support, to have President Biden's support for these mandates, for these strong measures. It's made a world of difference to have leadership in Washington backing us up every step along the way. So all I can say to you is muchísimas gracias. It has been tremendously helpful. And we look forward to hosting you again soon in New York City.
Thank you. Sigan pa'lante.